Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman saved our marriage, and then it didn't.
And then we would have died in that ecosystem. We would have suffocated in the stagnation of that.
Do you remember when we first read
Oh
the
my
love
gosh.
languages? It actually was one of the cutest and sweetest times of my life, like my memories of us.
Totally.
So we were so young when we first read The Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman,
Yes,
the
we were.
OG in the relationship space that we
Yep.
have referred to so many people
Yeah.
since then.
I
It's
mean,
like been our number
I
one
think it's
thing.
probably the most like well-known relationship book, like as far as like just frameworks to like how to connect with somebody.
Yeah, my God, it's become like a
It's-
vernacular. It's become
Totally.
this really cultural vernacular.
Yeah.
But we were so young and cute. I mean, we got together when we were 21 or 22.
Yeah.
And we read this, in our mid-20s?
It was late 20s.
Okay, late 20s. So it was like before the silver even hit the hair and before the wrinkles even started
I don't have
for
wrinkles.
either
What are you talking about?
for either of us. And I remember what I loved about our engagement with the book is that we were just so interested in figuring us out and how we could do us better. And it was a time actually when I remember being a little frustrated that there wasn't enough acts of service coming from you.
Yeah.
That I grew up in a family where acts of service was like everything with
Oh,
both
yeah.
of my parents. It was all the thing. But I never had language for it. I never had a framework to describe what I wanted, what I needed, why I liked that, why that mattered. And I just expected that that's how everybody else would operate. And if they didn't, it was wrong and it was bad. And it felt like, and I didn't know why. So when we discovered the Five Love Languages, we bought 2 copies and I remember sitting in bed, like both reading it and highlighting it and taking the quiz ourselves. And then we swapped the books so that we could read each other's results. And y'all, I mean, probably like you, I'm assuming that you've done this work. If you haven't, buy 2 copies and do the thing like stat in your relationship, or even by yourself. If you're not in a relationship, it'll help the next one. And it gave us so much compassion for one another that instead of trying to love you in the way that I wanted to be loved, this is the premise of the whole book, of course,
Yeah.
right? That it was about learn to love you in the language that you want, and please love me in the language or languages that I want.
It was great for our marriage until it wasn't, right? Like,
Yes.
because all the things it served a purpose for a time,
It absolutely
right?
did, because
and
you
it helped
started
us
to do,
transition.
Yeah, you started to do the
Totally.
acts of service
And-
that I needed, and no longer from a place of being nagged or because I was annoying or
Yeah.
because I was needy,
Well,
but because you wanted to serve me in that way.
Well,
And
because-
so as you started to do that, then it shifted into a place where I feel well served, and you are now the service professional. And the pendulum swung a little too far, apparently, over time.
apparently.
Because
Because I'm really good at performing when I need to.
you're good at meeting me where I wanted to be met.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then what happened, love? This is the part that you want to fill in.
Yeah, I think like what happened was, like, when I think about where we were when we got to reading the book and doing the exercises and laying in bed with the books open and each having our study time and learning it all,
It
and
was really sexy.
I
really loved that.
It was fun, and it was beneficial. And where we were separate. Like, we were at that point in time, she was disenchanted with me and I was irritated with her because I wasn't showing up as a man, quite frankly. Like, I wasn't like taking care of some basic things. I wasn't being present for her or doing the acts of service, because in my mind, acts of service is like so far down my love language list that it's hard. Like, as human beings, we want to serve people. Our natural tendency is to want to serve people and love people the way that we like to be loved. And the premise of this book is saying that's like the biggest mistake you could make. And so when I learned that her love language was acts of service, and it wasn't just her nagging me, being like, you got to do all this stuff to really make me want to open up and all this stuff with you, which to me just sounded absurd when I read the book, and it was like a playbook, and it was like seeing the good, the bad, the ugly about what the love language is and when it's in alignment and when you're doing it and how it reacts and how, how everything kind of flows, and when it's not in alignment and they're not getting what they want, kind of how they come off. And I was like, whoa, that's my life, you know? And so it was so accurate that I was like, all right, that's information. It's data. I can try to be better at this. And so I started showing up and performing acts of service and being more intentional and doing all these things for her. And, you know, now it's become like second nature. And she said it went too far. And yeah, so now, like, what happened was, at first I'll say it went great because it was new, right? She was excited and I was getting what I wanted. Like, we were connecting more.
Okay, when he says getting what he wants, y'all, if you're new here, let me just introduce you to the world of the man whom physical touch is everything. And I'm talking about not the shoulder rub kind. Girls, you know what I mean. It's constant. It's insatiable. That's what he's referring to.
Yeah.
So don't sugarcoat it, baby.
So, I mean, it is what it is. So my love language is physical touch.
Action. He wants the action.
And when you do the love language like assessment, it will basically give you a scale of what yours are. And there's a thing you could do online, and mine was like 95% physical touch or something of that nature. It was like off the rails. And I'm not going to be guilted by that either. You know, it is what it is. But what happened was, as soon as I started meeting her love language,
which is 99% acts of service.
Yeah.
All the time.
Then it ended up being that I got more of my physical touch. And so it was this like really great cycle. But then what happened was, over time, the acts of service combined with my whole world of the way I was showing up at the time, of wanting to create safety, wanting her to feel like she was the only one for me, because she is, and like not looking at other women, and like kind of like creating this container that, honestly, the only way to put it is to just remove polarity from, and at that point in time, I don't even know what the word polarity was, right? Like, all I knew was acts of service. I mean, if you look at the love languages, it's what? It's acts of service, it's physical touch, it's quality time, which we both have a little quality time as well.
That's our second
That's
for
our
both
second
of us.
one for each
and
of
words
us.
of affirmation.
Words of affirmation.
And then gifting.
And gifting.
Those are the 5.
So those are the 5. Everybody's different. We have a daughter who gifting is her number 1 love language, right?
Like, and it's our lowest.
It's our lowest.
Which is a challenge.
And so that makes it hard for both of us. But, you know, it's important to understand these things. And like, if you are a physical touch, well, naturally, my inclination was, I want to love her in a way that I like to be loved, because that's what I understand. And so, you know, just navigating that and understanding that that's not the way to do it is important. And then realizing, you know, that for us, at least I'll say, this realization on the arc of our relationship, at that point in time, it saved everything, because then it was really not a good time. And from that perspective, I'm so grateful that this book existed and that we did that work. And on the scale of things, it was really vital work that helped build us to that next level. And if left to its own in a bubble, like, it would have ruined us at the same time. It would have created this happy, harmonious kind of like ecosystem for a period of time. And then we would have died in that ecosystem. We would have suffocated in the stagnation of that, right?
Of the yumminess that it created.
Yeah.
If that's all we did, we've taken the principles,
Totally.
we've really embodied them. We now approach each other and each other's desires with much more compassion.
It helps you see each other better.
Yeah, we look at the love language and the request rather than making the person bad or shamed. You know, there's a lot of great stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the risk in it is sort of losing ourselves completely by like immersing all of us into what the other one wants. And it becomes what I call like the tentacles, like the octopus-tentacles of let me give, do, got all up in my business. And then it became enmeshment, as opposed to having a little bit of polarity and a little bit of distance and some independence, where I could look at him across the room and be like, oh, there's that guy. Look what he's up to. He's an autonomous human. And instead, what ended up happening is we moved so far down the line of please, serve, that it became enmeshment and this almost unhealthy, like a codependency or something in there.
I wouldn't
don't know.
Yeah.
But it went a little too far. So it's not to say that the 5 love languages is not incredible. It's just, I would say round out the other options as well. Don't let that be the only thing that you do for 2 decades for your relationship.
For sure.
Right?
It's a good bridge to help you get to a place. But like, I think it's like anything else. It's you got to constantly be growing with each other. And
Yes.
it doesn't just stop when you figure out your love languages.
Yes.
Right?
Always be becoming. And it's one tool in the tool belt,
Yeah.
but don't go like swatting flies with the hammer. You know,
Totally.
You got to have the wide range of tools, and we're getting better as we're adding on to that as a beautiful foundation. And then we're adding work from all these different other practitioners and what, dear?
I would say that, I would say that the great part about the love language, it's a great entry point. It's a great place to start. Like if we had started with mating in captivity, I wouldn't have been able to handle it. You know what I mean? Like I was not ready for it then. And
it requires some experience in a relationship. But the 5 love languages, like give as a gift to every newlywed couple.
Every
like,
newlywed couple needs it.
If you
and
have
that will help them get to a place in the relationship where they can then handle the next levels, right? And that's where you might get into the more advanced polarity kind of things, which quite frankly, you have polarity at the beginning of a relationship. And, you know, initially there is that uncertainty. It's after 10 years, 7 years, the 7-year itch, maybe that's where it comes from, where you get comfortable and the polarity dilutes and you
but
need
the
to
thing that the 5 love languages is awesome when the qualities that we fell in love with about the person that are so yummy at the beginning, when they inevitably turn into the things that annoy us the most about the person, that is when the 5 love languages becomes heroic. So it's not that it's bad. It's not that it's lacking. It's not any shade at all. It's just, it's not all that is forever.
Not either or, it's both and more.
Both and more.
As our friend Scotty-O says.
Yeah.
So
that's what we got.
So if you found value in this, I'd love, if you've gone through this 5 love languages experience, I would love to get a sense of like, which love language are you and like, how did this impact the way that you interface and engage with your spouse, with your partner? How did it change your relationship? And, you know, I'm curious, like how often do people that are like physical touch end up with people who are acts of service and this kind of thing? Because I think it's much more common that you end up with somebody who's not the same as you, which, you know, only I guess to me that just blows my mind that happens all the time. But I'm curious to see what that looks like. If you found value in this video, like it, share it, get it out there. And subscribe, because we have videos. We talked about the Esther Perel mating in captivity. We've actually got another video just like this with her. So I would say I'll put it on the end screen here. Go check it out. And that's it.
Thank you. See you next time. Mwah.